Okay, I am going to give this podcasting thing a go. I've got no clue absolutely at all what I'm doing, but I'm going to try talking, and I'll probably hate my voice when I listen to it back, but yeah, I'll give it a shot. So I was reading some articles on the type of voice that you want to have when you're podcasting, and apparently you want to be conversational and you want to speak as though I am only having a conversation with one person, which realistically is not, out of the scenario, because I'm probably only speaking to one person. So hello, you. The other thing that I read that I have not taken on board, but I might, depending on how this turns out, is that they did I don't know who they is, but they did a survey and a study on voices and what came across more naturally and what people liked listening to the most, and they just recorded the voices and got people to give their feedback, and overwhelmingly the voices that were recorded while the person was completely naked were apparently the most listenable. So if you're not liking my voice right now, that's probably because I'm still wearing clothes, not because I've never done this before. I'm sure it's totally just come down to what I'm wearing. So I've spoken to a lot of people in the last couple of weeks about 2017 goals and things that we want to achieve, and I've told quite a few people that I wanted to start a podcast. So I now kind of feel like I have to, which is great because I now have accountability, but I also now have to do the thing. And I made it a goal, not a New Year's resolution, which is my problem. I think if I said it had been a New Year's resolution, then it would be totally acceptable for me to, give it a shot, try it maybe once, and then by the end of January, just, have thrown it in and next year's problem. But I made it a goal, and part of the reason that I wanted to try this whole podcasting thing was, I guess firstly, if you know me, you know that I enjoy talking a lot and quite like the sound of my own voice. So this is, I guess, a little present to myself. I get to waffle on forever and hope that maybe somebody listens to it. But the other thing is I have some seriously cool friends, some really cool people in my life who just do really interesting stuff. And in normal social settings, if you start to ask too many questions, it can come across as a bit like of an interrogation, and people generally frown upon that, and it's usually a bit weird after a while. But if I start a podcast and invite my friends over and we have a bit of a conversation, then I can totally interrogate everyone, and it'll be, socially acceptable, and people might even compliment me for it. So it's a win-win, really. I get to be creepy and ask lots of questions, and hopefully, positive things will come out of it. And I really do think that there's a lot of positivity that could come out of me chatting to people. So I think, and I don't know whether I've noticed it a lot more with my female friends, but just, I guess, people in their 20s in general are all, typical millennials, a bit unsure what we want to do with our lives and having that crisis of what do I want to be when I grow up. But some people are already kicking massive goals and doing these really cool stuff, and absolutely changing the world, and some really, really great things, whether it's career or like social stuff or just personal life, just really coming into their own, but not really telling people about it. So I kind of want to create something where I can share these really cool stories, and talk about these amazing South Australians who are amazing. So that's kind of what I want to achieve with a podcast. I'd also like to feel like my journalism degree wasn't completely wasted, and have a play around with interviewing, and there's a lot of stuff like podcasting, radio interviews, stuff on TV. There's a lot of people that I admire in the way that they ask questions and the way that they can get people to open up in a really natural conversational way, and that's something that a skill set that I really wish that I had. So in 2017 I'm going to try and develop that and work on the way that I communicate and try and draw those things out. Another thing that I was thinking about, which kind of relates, is I'd like to get a family history, like an audio history. I'd like to sit down, especially with my grandparents, but with both my parents, my auntie, my sister, and have conversations so that those family stories and those childhood memories and those things that get brought up every year at Christmas time and joked about, so that those things don't get lost and that they're captured. And I think that'd just be a really nice thing to have. So I'd also like to explore that, and would like to have some background in that, asking good questions and knowing how to steer and guide a conversation. I'd like to have some of that under my belt before I delve into the family stuff, because I'm sure some of the family stuff will be emotional and not necessarily bad emotions, but just quite personal. So I'd like to have some of those skills sort of in me before I do that. So I haven't done too much waffling yet. I haven't said I don't think. I've said a few times, but there are these awkward pauses where I, halfway through a sentence, am too busy thinking about the next sentence, so then I just pause. And it's kind of like that kid at sports day who couldn't quite get the legs working and then the jumping the hurdles. Yes, I was that kid, being my clumsy self. But that's kind of how I feel like I'm talking at the moment, is like there's the hurdle up ahead and I'm kind of gearing up to do that, but in the meantime I'm still trying to work out how to put one foot after the other in order to get there. You can't see this, but I'm moving my hands around as if I'm running, which is very unhelpful for a podcast, because obviously there's no visual element. But in the article that I read that said that I should be naked while I'm doing this, it did also say that if I naturally am someone that uses my hands to talk, that I should do that while I'm podcasting, because then it'll come across more natural. And they said that if you are someone that uses your hands and you try and stand still and do the proper thing, then it'll come across as quite hollow. So right now I'm holding my arms very still, and I actually am struggling to talk in a proper sentence. I didn't realise how much I needed to use my hands. So that's quite interesting. So even if this doesn't work, I'm, learning how to do something, learning about myself and my use of arms. So that's exciting. So the other thing that I'm also interested in finding out right now is whether you can hear I've got my bedroom fan on, so I'm not sure whether you can hear that, or how much sort of throat noises and other weird human noises that you make when you're talking come up, because I'm using a voice recorder that I similar to one that I had when I was doing uni and doing journalism, and that we had to use for a story. So it does have noise. What is it? I'm going to read the box. it has, well, it's all in another language. Oh, well, this is going well. Nope, I don't know. Anyway, it's apparently meant to cancel out like external noise, which is good if the voice recorder can do that, because otherwise I don't have the editing software or know how to be able to do that. So we will see when I listen to this back, or when you hear it, if you can hear all of the other noise. Okay. Well, this has gone for more than 10 minutes now, and I think that's probably enough of my waffling on. So I am going to awkwardly say goodbye and listen to this back, and hopefully it won't be too cringeworthy. We will see. Alrighty, bye!